at that time for hunting, but I mean, you know, it was just
everybody
there.
always had one mounted over the fireplace, right?
Yeah, I mean, we just, you learn to respect that.
And the culture has changed. Now you fear people who may possibly have a gun. When before you respected each individual person and everyone had a gun, and no one feared each other.
Right.
You know, we all trusted each other. We didn't worry about things like.
Well, we're not even talking that far back. I mean, when I was a kid at school. I mean, you know, my brother, if he didn't, but if he wanted to pack his, you know, gun in his truck, he could go to school and they could go out hunting
right after school.
After school. Well, nowadays, oh my gosh, he'd be in jail.
Right.
So we figured one thing we're kind of for. All right, let's.
Well, if I can just insert this real quick, we were talking about Article 10, and it says the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states, respectively, or to the people. So basically, everything stays in the states and the people, unless it's specifically given to, you know, the United States.
But it has to be delegated, is what you're telling us. Okay.
And their main purpose originally was simply to protect our borders. I mean, most of that biggest emphasis for them was to protect our borders.
And to right our borders, because England had written its borders and right around the United States borderline, and so what we wanted to do was say, hey, guess what? We're seceding from England,
right?
And we now have borders. We are now a new country, and what we did was we put the minimum in place in order to do that, and we wanted to keep it at the minimum level to protect the freedoms of those people living within those newly created borders. We wanted the minimum regulation on these people living within these borders, because that is what those people wanted. That's the independent spirit.
And then each state in itself was like its own little country, because it had its own constitution, its own, you know,
representative. It had to have its own constitution in order to become part of the Union.
Right.
Okay.
But Union back then was a little bit different philosophy than today.
Well, it was 13 original colonies.
Well, but what I'm saying is they were all equally independent, yet when it came to an outside force, you know, that threatened them, they came together in unity. It didn't mean that there was some big corporate hog up here that was going to try and manipulate all of those 13 colonies.
So the words united we stand, divided we fall have been taken out of context.
A little bit.
And a little bit messed up.
A little bit,
Okay. I was going to say something, but I think it's Jeremiah's turn. You were talking about alternatives. Give me some ideas as far as what our alternatives may be. Try to say that one fast 3 times first.
Well, we've talked quite a bit about, you know, that we actually support some things rather than oppose them, like gun control laws. There's some things that is in the Constitution, like the federal government has the power to coin money. The states are not supposed to do that. That was because back in our early history, all the states put out their own money, and nobody understood what any money was worth. So we gave that power to the federal government for a reason, and there was a very good reason at that time. Since then, the federal government has kind of sold out to private industry, and there's a bank, a private bank called the Federal Reserve that we've talked about a couple times on this program. And they've kind of sold out to them and granted the powers to the private sector. So they sold the right to print money to a bank. That, to me, sounds quite dangerous.
Okay, so what are you for?
I'm actually for alternative currencies. I believe that when people put their money in gold, gold doesn't lose its value. If today you can buy $1, or you can buy a candy bar or Snickers bar for $1. In a year, it's going to cost you $1.50. Your dollar is lost 50% of its value.
Right.
But if you buy $1 worth of gold today, you can sell that gold back next year. When the Snickers bar costs $1.50, you can sell that gold back for $1.50. That's pretty much the program here. Gold holds its value. So I do believe that because we've gone away from the gold standard, and our money is not backed by gold anymore. I do believe that we should open up the opportunities for people to invest in gold and things like that. Maybe an alternative currency such as, you know, gold coins or silver coins or something backed by real, something that people view as valuable.
Right.
And that holds its value, because paper eventually, as you print more money.
Now that's a great idea, but what do you suggest, how do you suggest that we would get from the point we are to the point where Congress will actually stand up against the Federal Reserve and say, you're out of here?
Well, first of all, we all got to get elected to small positions as precinct committeemen in our local communities and spread the word as much as we can to the people who are actually actively involved, because we're actively involved now. We need to inform as many people as we possibly can in every avenue that we can across the country. I first hit the people who are actively involved in the process and show them the danger to their wealth, and show them the danger to their family and their future, and you know, show them evidence of corporations, multinational corporations that don't have really any interest in America buying up all our property while it's cheap, while we're in this housing market slump.
Right.
Just, you know, buying highways and toll roads and whatever they can do to tax us, even though they're not our government. There are corporations out there that are feeding off of America right now, because we're